Hi everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome to this companion tutorial for the Ripple in Time throw. The Ripple in Time throw is my own design and it's made using 6 of these Caron Chunky Cakes, which are a super bulky weight yarn. So you're able to substitute this the yarn in this pattern for any other size 6 weight yarn or super bulky weight yarn. For this pattern, you will need approximately 6 of these Caron Chunky Cakes. You will also need an 8mm crochet hook, and then of course a pair of scissors and a yarn needle for weaving in your ends. For this tutorial, you also need a copy of the crochet pattern. The crochet pattern can be found for free on my blog at www.richtexturescrochet.com, and there you will see it is a free pattern. I'm calling this a companion tutorial simply because in this tutorial I will not be crocheting the entire afghan, but I will be crocheting a swatch of it so that you will see the stitches that are used, and you will hopefully from this, even though I'm not doing the full 91 stitches, you will still gain an understanding of how the afghan is put together. The throw is worked in one solid piece. So it's a total of 91 stitches across, and it will be important throughout your work on it that you make sure that you maintain that number of stitches. In this tutorial, I'll give you a few tips and hints as well on how to maintain those straight edges. I'm going to assume, as we are working here, that you already have a basic understanding of crochet, so how to make a slip knot, how to do chain stitches, how to work a single crochet, and double crochet and all that. I will show you some of the techniques such as the raised ripple stitch and how to half double crochet in the third loop. Okay, so let's get started. Now, as I said, this is a companion tutorial, so I will not be working the entire afghan. I will just be working a small swatch. So for the purposes of today, I'm going to simply start by chaining 17 stitches. You will start by chaining 93 if you're working on this blanket. If you would like to adjust the size of your blanket, the stitch count is simply an odd number of stitches plus 2 for your turning chain. So that's why today I'll be working 15 for the odd number of stitches plus 2, which is a total of 17 to give me my nice little swatch for you today. So I have chained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 2 for my turning chain, total of 17. Now once you have your chain complete, you are going to begin on row 1, which tells you to double crochet in the 4th chain from hook. So 1, 2, 3, this is my 4th chain. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, and double crochet in that 4th chain. You will then double crochet in each of these chains all the way across. In this pattern, the chain 3 at the beginning always counts as a double crochet. So you will always include it in your stitch count, and you will always treat it as you would a normal stitch, so you'll always work into it. So double crochet in that row 1 all the way across. last chain, a double crochet. Then for row 2, you're simply going to turn and chain 1, and then you're going to single crochet in the next one across. You will see that after each row, you're often, after each double crochet or after each ripple stitch row, you will see that you're often doing a single crochet row, and this makes sure that you'll always return to the right side so that your work is always on the right side. Keeps it all in the same place. So one single crochet in the tops of each stitch all the way across. And when you come to the end, remember your chain 3, your starting chain 3 always counts as a stitch, so you're going to treat it as you would a stitch and work your final single crochet or double crochet, whatever it may be, into that stitch. So then you have your single crochet stitches all the way across. Now row 3, this is the row where we are going to begin doing the raised ripple stitch. I'm going to adjust my light here slightly. See if I can make it a little bit less glaring. So we're going to begin, you're going to turn and you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And you'll remember that this chain 3 always counts as a double crochet, so it is as though this chain 3 is worked into the top of that first single crochet. Then our pattern tells us to skip this first single crochet because that's the one that chain 3 is worked into. But you're also going to skip the next single crochet, because instead of working into that single crochet, you're actually going to work underneath of it. You're going to work one triple stitch, so you're going to yarn over twice around the post of that double crochet. So to work around the post, you're going to insert your hook from the right back behind the stitch, out through the left side, and you're going to work the stitch as you normally would if you were working in the tops of the stitch. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. So you have this double crochet, and then you have this triple crochet worked around the post of the double crochet below, skipping that next single crochet. And then, instead of working another triple, you're going to work a double crochet. Because you've skipped that single crochet, you're going to work the double crochet in the next single crochet. So essentially for this, you're just going to be repeating that triple crochet and double crochet, and it's like you're always working in sort of 2 rows at once. You're always working your double crochets into the tops of this single crochet row, and you're always working your triple crochets around the posts of this double crochet row. So your next triple crochet, yarn over twice, is going to be worked. You're going to, again, skip the next single crochet, and you're going to skip the double crochet that's directly below it, and you're going to work your triple in the one beside it. And there's your triple crochet. And then you repeat your double crochet. You've skipped this single crochet because you've worked in the stitch below it, and you're going to double your crochet and work your double crochet in the next one. So on this double crochet where you're working your triple crochets, you're always doing a double crochet and then your triple, and then skip a double crochet and then your triple, and you're going to skip a double crochet and then your triple. Up top, you're always going to have a double crochet and then skip, a double crochet, skip, and then a double crochet and then skip. So to work your triple again, going to skip the next double crochet down below, work around the post, pull up your yarn, pull through, pull through, pull through, and then work your next double crochet, and then there's a skipped one, and then work your next double crochet in that single crochet. So it's always work one, skip one. And next a triple down below, and then a double up top, and then a triple, and then a double. Just repeat that pattern all the way down to the end, and then we'll take a step back here and I'll just show you what the final looks like. And then my last double crochet is in this last stitch right here. So if you take a look at your work, you will see you have these alternating double crochet, triple, double crochet, triple, double crochet, triple, like that on the front. And if you look at the back, the top of your work, you have your double crochet, and then your skipped, your double crochet, your skipped, double crochet, and skipped all the way across. So that's the back, and that's your front. Okay, so then your next row, your row 4, you're going to chain and turn, or turn and chain, whatever you prefer, and you're going to work your row of single crochets all the way back. And the single crochets are always, when you're working the ripple stitch, always worked in the tops of your stitches, double crochets and triples all the way across. Okay, and you come to that final chain 3, which we remember is a stitch. So we're going to single crochet in the top of it to keep our lines even. And there we go. And then we are once again going to turn. And now we are going to complete another row of that double and triple pattern. But this time we're going to chain 3, which counts as a stitch, so it's like this stitch is worked into that single crochet below it. And this time, because we want to offset our ripples, we're going to work a double crochet. So this is in row 5. You're going to double crochet in the next single crochet to begin. Before we jumped right into our triple crochets, but for row 5, we're just gonna hold back, double crochet in that next single crochet. And then we're going to work our triples. Now here it's a little bit easier because you will always see where your next triple stitch is going to be, because your triple stitches are always worked around the post of a double crochet. So it's always going to be in between your previous triple stitches. So your triple crochet, your yarn over twice, is going to be worked around the post of that double crochet down below. And then you do a double crochet, and you'll remember up top you're going to skip the next single crochet and work your double crochet in the next one. Skip one, work one, skip one, work one. So there's our double crochet. Then we're going to work a triple crochet in the next, around the post of the next double crochet down below. And then a double crochet, we're going to skip and then work one up top. Triple crochet around the post of the double crochet down below, and then double crochet, and we're going to skip one and then work one double crochet up top, triple down below, and skip one, work one double crochet up top. So once you kind of get the hang of it, it's a bit of a pattern that you don't really need to think about. It's kind of a great pattern to work in front of the TV. And then you're going to double crochet, you're going to skip one and double crochet, and because we double crocheted in the first 2 stitches, we are going to repeat that pattern and double crochet in our last 2 stitches, which offsets the ripples. Okay, so those are 2 rows of these ripple stitches. Now for rows 6 to 9 in the pattern, you will repeat these rows one more time. So you'll repeat rows 2 to 5. Because this is a companion video and I'm not going to crochet the entire throw at this time, I'm going to skip right to row 10 at this point. Okay, so working row 10, you're going to chain 1 and turn, and you're going to work your return row of single crochets. So just a single crochets in each stitch across. And as we come to the end, we remember that our chain 3 is a stitch. We're going to single crochet in the top of that stitch as well. So we have our row of single crochets. You'll chain 1 and turn, or turn and chain 1. Now we are going to start. I'll show you in the pattern here. If you take a look at this pattern, so for rows 1 through to 9, you are working on these bottom raised ripples down here. We are now working in this section of the afghan, which you see these straight ridges going right across. And these are made by half double crochets in the 3rd loop. To get us started though, in this section, we are going to simply work in row 11, we're going to simply work 1 half double crochet in each stitch across. So my first stitch, and if you're not familiar with the half double crochet, you're just going to yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and then pull through all 3 loops at the same time. That's your half double crochet. Yarn over, insert the hook in the top of your stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Your half double crochet, and you're going to do that all the way across. You'll work your half double crochet in the last stitch. Okay, now then when you come to row 12, that is where you begin this what's called working in the 3rd loop. Okay, so you're going to chain 1 and turn, And I'll show you where this third loop is found. So normally when you work in crochet, you work, I'll just take out my hook so you can see here, you work in these top loops right along here. Those are the loops that you normally work in. You work your stitch, you insert and pull through. So those are the loops that you normally work in. For the third loop is most commonly found or worked in the half double crochet, but you can do it in a double or a triple as well. But to find a third loop, you're going to turn your work forward, and so you can see the back of your half double crochets. So I'm now looking at the backs of my half double crochets. And the third loop is this horizontal bar that is across the back of these stitches. That horizontal bar that goes across the back. So that is where you are going to be working these single crochets. You're going to chain one and then working in the third loop, single crochet in the first stitch and in each stitch across. And you're going to do that all in this third loop. So I'll show you how to do that now. You've chained one and you've turned, or you've turned and chained one. I'm never sure which it is. And then you're going, so this is the top. So normally I would just work a single crochet just like this. But because I'm working in the third loop, I'm going to turn my work forward, find the horizontal bar across the back, the one below that top one. I'm going to insert my hook just under that bar, just like that. And then I'm going to draw up my loop like I would for a single crochet, and I'm going to complete my stitch. Okay, so I'll show you that again. So I'm going to work my single crochet, not in the top, but in the back horizontal loop of my work. So insert my hook from the bottom to the top, yarn over and pull through and pull it up and complete my stitch. I'll do it again. I'll do a few more and then I'll work it till the end, and then I'll turn my work and show you what is happening there in the front. So a single crochet in the third loop, the horizontal loop, and back, pull up and pull through. And again in the third loop, single crochet. And you're going to do that all the way across. And as you work, and I find especially with this yarn, I think just because it's so chunky, you'll find that those top two stitches are naturally kind of pushed forward out of the way. So the third loop becomes very apparent. It's kind of the only loop that's left there. And you'll see I'm only working under, sorry about the hair, I'm only working under the one loop. I'm not working under two, I'm just working, under that third, under the one loop. And then as you come to the end, sometimes it can be a little tricky to find the third loop in that last stitch. I find it helps to go back up to the top, find where the top of that is, and then just turn and right under. It just gets tricky because there's also a chain stitch that's also worked in there. So I just complete my last single crochet. So that's what it looks like on the back. Now if I turn it over, you can see these stitches here, those are the tops of the stitches that you would normally work in. And because you were working in that third loop in the back, it actually pushed those stitches forward. And so it gives you that neat kind of ridged knit look, almost actually. Okay, so that's how we do it. So that was row 16. Sorry, that was row 12. Then you're going to, in row 13, you're going to turn and chain one, And you're just going to work a row of half double crochets all the way back. And this, and I did the half double crochet and then single crochet alternate rows because you always want your half double crochets to be pushed forward to the front of your work. So this half double crochet row, working in the tops, working through both loops, will just get you back to the beginning. And then I'll show you one more row of working in the third loop. And my final. Okay, so that was my half double crochet, row 13. And then for row 14 to 15, you're just going to repeat 12 and 13. So row 12 again was that chain 1 and turn, and that's our single crochet in that third loop, which I'll show you again. So you'll remember, this is the top of our stitch. That's where we would normally work. We would normally work in the top there, a single crochet, but because we are working in the third loop, we're turning our work so we can see the back. We're going to insert our hook under this horizontal bar underneath the top loops. We're going to draw up and we're going to complete our single crochet. So a single crochet in the third loop, under that horizontal bar, yarn over and pull through. And you're just going to repeat that all the way across. Well, this pattern is a fairly repetitive pattern, although I do change up the row counts as far as how many rows of the half double crochet single crochet combo you'll do and how many of the triple and double crochet combos you do. But other than that, I'll just come to the front here. There we go. And you can see our row of ridges there. So we have these 2 rows of ridges, and we have our ripple rows down below. Now, because I'm doing just a smaller swatch, you don't see any of the color changes, but when you start getting into the color changes, the pattern is really neat because when you're working these ripple stitches, you're working over top of other stitches, so you have kind of 2-tone colors going for you as you work it. But that is basically all you need. All the other stitches in this pattern have been shown to you up until this point. Again, you're just repeating rows, repeating steps for a certain number of count in order to get the lengths of these raised ripples and the lengths of the single crochet and half double crochet rows. So there you have it. That is the conclusion of this stitch tutorial companion for the Ripple in Time throw. I hope that it was helpful for you, and if you have any further questions, feel free to message me. You can connect with me on Facebook at Rich Textures Crochet. I'll have it linked there for you in the video notes, or send me a message through the blog, through the pattern. That's okay too. But I hope you enjoy the blanket. It really is a very cozy blanket. Even before I was completely finished, my kids and even my husband were tracking it around the house, and they quickly adopted it into be one of their favorites, at least in this household. So there you are. Enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial. Happy crocheting, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.